We start your 4 to 5 with developing news in Charlotte. 2 people died in a helicopter crash on I-77 this afternoon.
Our CBS affiliate WBTV confirmed it was their chopper that crashed. The station identified the 2 victims as Jason Myers, who was a meteorologist at WBTV, and Chip Tyeg, who was a pilot there.
Charlotte Mecklenburg police say the 1999 Robinson R-44 chopper went down near I-77 just before noon. Police say the chopper circled around for a bit, then disappeared out of sight.
They say it looked like the pilot tried to avoid landing on the highway, and that heroic decision likely saved lives.
To me, it looks like a heroic incident where the pilot tried to avoid injuring anyone else and putting anyone else in danger. And if that is truly the case, then that pilot is a hero in my eyes, to make sure that the safety and security of those that were driving on the road was not in jeopardy.
Governor Cooper tweeted about the crash moments ago, writing, "This is a terrible tragedy, and we are praying for them and all of those in the media who work so hard to keep the public informed."
This is horrible because it's even competitors or not, we're all a part of the same statewide TV news family, and we feel when we hear things like this, for us personally, I mean, I know of 2 other helicopter crashes in this industry, in this state, that has happened before, and we all feel like we lost somebody.
It's hard to even put into words how you feel. You know, we didn't know these 2 gentlemen, but I feel like we did because we've all been in that position, right? We're all part of this family, like you're talking about. It's just so sad. I mean, they were just doing their job.
Doing their jobs, and as we were saying prior to the show, 2 days before Thanksgiving, you know, what their families are dealing with right now, what they feel, my heart and prayers definitely go out to them. It's very heartbreaking.
It is, and the television industry is small, and we all
know each other.
Or
know someone that knows
that's
somebody.
Right. We know people at other stations and stuff, so our thoughts and prayers to everyone involved.
Yeah.
I was not working here in 1984, but it brings me back to just the story of hearing about when the News 2 chopper crashed. I know that you've heard about that story too, and I mean, it's just eerie to hear like something like that could happen.
And it happened in the Raleigh market before with WTVD's helicopter, and all of these resulted in loss of lives. Not everybody on the TVD one, but a person I knew who was a sports anchor, and that he was the only survivor of the 3 that were on that helicopter, and they were covering Friday football, flying around from high school to high school. It was tragic, just tragic.
It's also important to know that I-77 in that area will be shut down for the foreseeable future while the NTSB and the FAA are there investigating. We have seen chopper and plane crashes before, and that really has, it is stopped traffic completely. So a very busy day as people travel for the holiday. So stay with us, and we will keep you posted as they continue this investigation. All right, let's get over to Monique now for a look at the weather just ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, I mean, just heart-wrenching, though, to hear that a fellow meteorologist in passing. I mean, we all serve in each and every day in our weather capacity, so it's certainly difficult to hear someone, a fellow meteorologist who works hard every single day, to no longer be with us. But certainly prayers and for all who are involved in terms of family and other connections. We are continuously sending love from our WFMY family and even the WFMY News 2 weather team, including myself. These fall temperatures will be sticking with us through tonight. Tomorrow will even be warming up a bit. Yesterday, we reached a high of 51. We're warming up now to 58, adding a couple of more degrees onto that when we go into the day tomorrow, and even staying that warm for your Thanksgiving. So tomorrow, temperatures are right around those mid-60s. 65 is a forecast high in Yadkinville, 64 in Elkin. Zooming on over to the central Piedmont, where temperatures stay in those low 60s under partly sunny skies. A warmer day. We're on this warmer trend. As I mentioned yesterday, 51. Today, 58. We added about 7 degrees. And now that we're into your Tuesday, temperatures in the 60s. So we're getting even warmer as we go over the next several days. So our temperature trend is staying warm through Thursday, that Thanksgiving day. Now behind it, we do cool off a bit. We're going to have some clouds around, even some rain on Friday for Black Friday. And that's going to bring us down to about the lower 50s. And then your Saturday temperatures kind of warming back up around more seasonable numbers. Here's a look at your full 7-day. Again, those rain chances arriving as early as Friday and sticking with us through Sunday.
The Marching Cavaliers of Cummings High School in Burlington say they're the baddest band in town, but now there's an opportunity to take their sound out of state to play for folk in the Big Easy.
Oh yeah, the musicians are invited to play at the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day, but the road to New Orleans is steep and expensive. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey found out how the band hopes to get there.
Yeah, guys, we're just 40 days out from December 31st, the day that the Marching Cavaliers bands are set to perform in front of millions. Right now, fundraising is still underway as they work to get the entire band to the Superdome in New Orleans. Marching band is just a way of life here at Burlington Cummings High School.
We weird, we funny, we're outgoing people, but we do whatever, you know. I think that makes me want to stay in band because like we're out there, we'll do anything, and we stand out from other people.
Just being together all the time. We also do things outside of just school, like we just hang out together, we just make it fun.
And on New Year's Day 2023, the Marching Cavaliers plan to be on the national stage.
I didn't know we were going to the Sugar Bowl until we got these shirts. I was like, wow, you know, I was like, we don't really go places like that. It's a big opportunity for us.
Just having fun. Just having fun and enjoying the experience. We gave the community a lot to like look forward to. Like even just being outside of the band, we could be in a random store and they'd be like, y'all come as band, y'all going to the Sugar Bowl. Yes, ma'am.
Director of bands Dr. Gregory Milton knows there's no moment too big for his kids.
The best thing about these kids is when it's time to show up and show out, they do not let me down. And so we want to let you know, community, we're not going to let you down. Whether we're playing at local middle schools or local high schools or playing for Boston College or going to the Sugar Bowl, just exposing the kids to different things.
It's clear how much Dr. Milton and this special ensemble at Hugh Cummings High School means to each one of his students.
We got the best director ever. He's just the best person in the world.
I love this band so much.
And so the band is ready to go, but they do still need a little bit of help. There's a lot of money, a lot of funding that is required for a trip of this size and this magnitude, especially during those dates, just because this is a national event that's going to be taking place. So if you at home feel the need to help donate, to help get these kids to New Orleans, I've attached a link in this web story on WFMYnews2.com where you can make a donation.
A little bit different than traveling down the road to Graham to play the Red
Yeah.
Devils, isn't it?
It's not like going to the Coliseum and filling in at the ACC tournament.
That's right.
I'd have to say their sound is so great. The horns, they sound amazing. I think this is a great opportunity. The young man in the story was saying, we don't get to do things like this. You know, there's a lot of young people who've never traveled outside of their state. So if they get the opportunity to go down to New Orleans, that's a memory they'll keep with them forever, inspire them and show them, you know, the sky is the limit. They can really do anything.
Big
so
world out there.
Hope they get that money.
And it's one thing to travel outside the state to go play somewhere, but you're going to New Orleans.
Right.
Yes.
How cool is
The
that?
music one of the music cities.
And you'll be there on New Year's and
Oh my
like,
gosh.
just
So
all the
Get
stuff.
to go to the
with
football game.
I mean that's wild.
It's a whole weekend. It should be a great event, and we want to make sure our kids are able to enjoy it. So
Yeah.
let's make sure we can help them out whatever we can.
Yeah, great story,
Great
Jalen.
story.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
cool
you.
there.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, the federal government is ramping up efforts to get more people boosted against COVID before the holidays. Dr. Anthony Fauci doubled down today on the importance of protecting yourself and those around you.
You can count masking, vaccine, boosting, testing. All of that is part of the spectrum of protecting yourself and your family.
What do you say about the word mask now being a pejorative in some communities?
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I know sometimes when you walk in and you have a mask and nobody has a mask, you kind of feel guilty. You shouldn't feel guilty. You look terrific.
Now, Fauci recommends the flu and COVID vaccine for everyone. As for him personally, he says he's stepping down from his role as Biden's chief medical advisor next month.
Google Trends shows a lot of people in North Carolina have Thanksgiving plans that involve traveling by car. A recent study from Cars.com shows more people are using electric vehicles to get to loved ones this year. If you need help finding a charging station, the U.S. Department of Energy has you covered. Just go to their search website and search alternate fueling station locator to find the closest spot near you.
Highway Patrol has a simple message when you're hitting the roads: buckle up. The Click It or Ticket campaign runs through Sunday. Deputies are also encouraging drivers to obey the speed limit and keep a safe following distance from other cars. More than 1,700 people die on North Carolina roads last year. A lack of a seatbelt was the main cause.
Law enforcement are also concerned about people driving drunk around Thanksgiving. Blackout Wednesday, also known as Drunksgiving, refers to binge drinking on the night before Thanksgiving. Ahead of the day, a North Carolina organization is pushing parents to speak with their children about the dangers of alcohol abuse. Talk It Out NC is an organization through the North Carolina Alcohol Beverage Commission. It helps parents understand how to talk to their children about the challenges around alcohol use. Dr. Wanda Boone is a Talk It Out NC ambassador. She says the average age children in North Carolina take their first drink is 14.
Children, although they grow in height, do not have the capacity, because their frontal lobes are not fully developed, to understand, really understand the outcomes of the behaviors that they are participating in.
Dr. Boone says there are several alcohol prevention strategies parents can participate with their kids. She says one of the best things a parent can do is let a child know that if they get into a dangerous or risky situation, they can text the letter X.
The child can text that to the parent to let them know, come and get me, which means that before a child leaves home, the parent should know where they're going, who they're going with, and those kinds of things.
She also recommends parents lock up any alcohol in the home and monitor to make sure a teen is not using or experimenting with alcohol without their knowledge. Talk It Out NC encourages parents and children to sign a pledge to say they won't use alcohol under the age of 21. The pledge makes ongoing conversations part of their regular routine. For details on how to sign up, just look for the story on our website. We'll be back after this break.
One Greensboro man is celebrating these days, and it's all about his music and his inspiration. If you don't know the name Eric Gales, don't worry, you will. He's been in the music industry most of his life, but just recently got his first nomination for a Grammy for Best Contemporary Blues Album. I caught up with him and his inspiration, his wife LaDonna, today to talk about the rise to stardom.
I'm really doing my best to find a word in the Webster's dictionary that describe it, but I can't. It's surreal. I'm still pinching myself just to be nominated. You know, if it didn't go any further than this, I consider, you know, a huge accomplishment.
How did tell me about your beginnings? Because you're from Memphis originally, is that right? Tell me about that.
I'm from Memphis, man. I grew up playing in church. I'm the youngest of 5 brothers. 3 are passed away. My mom and father passed away. Rest their souls. But I believe that they are up above, and my brothers are up above, laughing pretty good and smiling pretty good. That their baby son and baby brother, you know, finally got life together, you know, personally and professionally.
And you know, and that, I mean, that's part of the story, right? That's part of the trip, is what we have to go through. A little bit of what you had to go through, E, to get where you are now.
Yeah, I man, heavy drug addiction, almost died 5 or 6 times. Prison, all kinds of things, man. I basically gave up on myself, but there was a he or she that had a prayer set out for my life. And so my life's mission is to keep going and show people that if this wretched old dopehead can come from where the abyss of hell that I was in, and to continuing to go forward and just not giving up and keep pushing forward, the sky is the limit.
So when I listen to this, it's so eclectic. The songs on this, some of this stuff shocked me. I was like, that doesn't sound like what I expected. when you hear blues, and
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're in funk, you're in blues, you're in the country. I mean, is that what you set out to do?
That's exactly what I set out to do. With that being said, though, I'm still at core a diehard, you know, Albert King, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker. I mean, all of that is still within me. But due to the heavy input and influence of other different styles of music that I can't help, but it just comes out in who I am. You know, at core, you're gonna have this deep-rooted gospel blues player, but there are different other spices sprinkled on the plate.
And coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to go to part 2, where he talks a lot about his wife, LaDonna, who is a huge inspiration in a moment. They shared an emotional moment with me. He's something special, so make sure you check out his album called Crown. It's Eric Gales, and we'll all be watching the Grammys pulling for him.
Tonight we're going down to 36. Tomorrow, 63, a palindromic number. Just flip-flopping. 36 tonight, up to 63 tomorrow. We're getting warmer and warmer day by day. Now, we weren't feeling these warm temperatures for a while, but they're back and they're here to stay for a little bit. Now, as we go throughout the day, we're going to see off and on clouds throughout your late day. Your Wednesday, though, should be a nice one. Overall, no complaints. Not even a rain shower moving in. Barely even getting to see some clouds. So tomorrow will be the nice day. After that, the weather really does change. We get additional clouds for your Thursday. I do expect for most of us to stay completely dry until we get to Friday. That's when that rain possibility increases throughout the entire day. So for your Thursday, increasing cloud cover, staying dry with that sunrise right around 7:05 a.m. Now, talking about the weekend, I'll do it more at 4:30.
So we just told you about blues artist Eric Gales, who lives in Greensboro, and his Grammy nomination. Of course, his talent took him there, but if you ask him, wife LaDonna that fuels what he does both on and off stage. Take a look.
Take me just as I am.
I met LaDonna through Eric. She's from Greensboro, but I just, I said, oh, she's Eric's wife. Then I heard you sing, and you didn't tell me this.
No.
The voice, tell how you got into that singing with this particular album.
Well, it was Joe Bonamazza's idea. He heard me singing. We had a show in Hickory, North Carolina, and he heard me just singing the outro to a song. And he says, I got you, LaDonna. I didn't know what that meant. So we get to the Crown recording, and he says, so LaDonna, I have a song that I would like for you to be featured on this album. And I'm like, no. No, this is all about Eric. And I tried to get out of it. I cried.
Really?
My tears didn't even work. And I said, you know what? Okay, I'll do it.
I can make you wanna leave.
You're on a Grammy-nominated album. How'd that work out?
How did that work
How did
out?
all that work out? When I first heard it, and that song to me just kind of has a lot of funk, a lot of 70s kind of funk sound to it. Is that where your heart is?
Yes, absolutely. I used to sing gospel, but if I had my choice, it would be funk. I love funk. The 70s vibe, that's all me. Afro on stage, you know, the bell bottom.
Talk about Greensboro a little bit and your background here getting into music, because it's not, you know, we're not a music scene, so to come up
That's
through this
true.
is...
Well, it all started in church, same as Eric. I went to my uncle's church, and there we were the first family, so my brother and I had to learn a lot of instruments and sing and all of that to kind of help that area grow.
If there ever was a living, breathing, walking version of what an angel looks like, then I found it. And that's what I feel that she really is to me in more ways that I can even imagine.
She's inside your music.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
right, when you're playing, there's part of that strength that's coming from her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 1,000,000% would agree with you on that.
I think a real man knows when where he's weak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Took me a little minute to come to grips with
Yeah.
that, but like, you know what, the moment that I did, things started getting better for me.
I'm telling you, there's such a, in fact, I did my 2 cents today on people that touch you and that leave a mark on your heart, whether it's someone you met occasionally here and there, or a friend or a relative, whether they're here on earth or passed on. And that's a couple that meant something to me, because I met him 4 or 5 years ago, and he hadn't gotten this level of fame yet or whatever, but that guy is the most genuine, honest, open. He'll talk about anything. Wife is the same way. She's born and bred in Greensboro, and he's from Memphis originally, but lives here now, and they are just stars in the crown of our city, I think. Wonderful people.
That voice.
Yes.
My goodness.
She can sing.
And incredible, a Grammy.
So the first time I met him, I didn't follow blues a whole lot, and he kind of got me into it. And I said, where were you last night? We were doing live shots on GMS, on the Good Morning Show. And he said, I was opening for the Stones. I went,
Wow.
The Rolling Stones? He goes, yes.
So modest and humble. Yeah,
He
just
is.
opening up for the Stones.
Just hanging out with you now.
Wow, that's, incredible.
Really cool
And then
guy.
just see them get emotional while they talk.
Yes.
I mean, it says a lot.
Beautiful, very inspiring, and they sound amazing. They look great. Beautiful couple.
They're inspiring as people, you know, not just musicians. But
Yeah.
you can watch the 65th Grammy Award, because we all got to see if he wins or not.
Right.
That airs right here on WFMY News 2, February 5th at 8 o'clock. We'll be back.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, hello, hello, mic check, hello, hello, hello.
Out in the weather garden, but apparently not. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here, Chad Silver, Lauren Coleman, Monique Robinson. We go down the line.
We hope you're having a terrific Tuesday watching us on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFMY News 2 app.
Coming up this half hour, we're going to be talking about oysters. Have you all heard the saying that you're not supposed to eat oysters in certain months?
I've never heard that.
I also don't eat them.
I don't even know the rule, but it's something about if the month has an R in it, you are or are not.
I can't
supposed
remember
to.
which way.
I don't know.
Anyway,
we'll find out.
So we're going to be finding out here shortly.
More on that in just a moment, but first we do have developing news on the deadly shooting in Colorado. Several of the victims hurt during a shooting at a gay nightclub are still in the hospital.
Yeah, police say a 22-year-old man opened fire in the club, killing 5 people and injuring many more. They say the suspect is also in the hospital but will be charged once he's well enough to go to jail. One of the victims recovering right now is actually from our state. Barrett Hudson posted a Facebook Live from his hospital bed sharing what happened to him. He says he was shot in the back 7 times and has a long road to recovery, but is grateful.
Bullets missed all my organs, missed my colon, missed my spine. I really feel for the people that didn't make it.
Well, he is from Charlotte, and he just recently moved to Colorado.
Alrighty, the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team is in Colorado right now, helping people heal after the tragedy. WFMY News 2's Ariel Cadet has an update on the work they're doing. Ariel.
That's right. A team of chaplains arrived in Colorado Sunday and got to work. The chaplain I spoke with says they're offering a listening ear and a helping hand for those still trying to piece together the events of Saturday night. Jason Sazia, as chaplain with the team, says he has made several connections with people in the area and listened to their stories. He says members of the LGBTQ community say they felt their safe space was jeopardized by that shooter. He says many are still working through the healing process, and the team is doing what they can to help them through that.
We're providing emotional and spiritual support to families, friends, people from the community, people from outside of Colorado who are coming to pay their respects.
He says they plan to be in the area for as long as the community needs them for the support. He says especially with it being so close to the holidays, the community needs the help now more than ever.
All right, thank you, Ariel. We have continuing coverage on the Colorado shooting on WFMYnews2.com and, of course, on our app. The app is totally free. You can download that, and that'll be the first place where you'll get those updates.
Yesterday on your 4 to 5, we talked about the words community policing. It's all about developing relationships. We've seen this play out over the years.
Oh yeah, just last week, a Graham police officer stepped up to help someone in a time of need. This photo shows him changing a flat tire on a minivan so the people inside could continue their trip to Atlanta for Thanksgiving.
Over in Burlington, a police officer is also taking community policing to a different level. He coaches, he mentors, and he protects students every school day. I had the opportunity to meet Officer DeAnthony Brooks, who builds trust on the gridiron and in the classroom.
Building up today's youth.
Shoot your hands and drive them. You're a big boy, you almost twice his size.
Into tomorrow's leaders.
If they do keep the Texas, get in your stance.
Is a challenge DeAnthony Brooks takes on every day.
Not just football, but sports in general. You learn work ethic, you learn dependability, you learn how to be trustworthy.
The former Fayetteville State University football star coaches at Williams High School in Burlington.
How you doing? Why'd you laugh?
When he's not calling plays or critiquing passes.
Come on, Milton, work your technique.
He's walking the halls of Williams as a school resource officer.
SRO has a negative stigma to it. You typically see older officers or people that are on their way out the door. You know, some people question why I became an SRO as a young officer. You know, I aspire to work in narcotics and things like that, but coming to the school has changed my life. It made me see things differently. Challenge yourself to do stuff outside of what's normal or comfortable to you, you know what I mean?
Officer Brooks is one of 5 SROs in the Burlington Police Department, working full-time in middle and high schools.
I know how it was for me as a high schooler. I had an SRO that was amazing in Greensboro, and he ultimately influenced me to be a police officer.
1201, can we get stepped up?
If I can create a change in my small world, you never know these kids' interaction with police in the future, how they may perceive them or their response to them. What's up, fellas?
Brooks says building relationships with students is one of his top priorities.
Before we get started, I want to see who's going to make the most noise in the building.
He even got the opportunity to host this year's homecoming pep rally.
I believe it bridges that gap. Some kids, you never know what aspect they may have dealt with law enforcement. I've had kids that have had catastrophic situations with their family, and I couldn't believe they came to me and felt comfortable enough to talk about what they were going through with me. So being able to see that lets me know that what I'm doing is actually working and paying off. I like that. You get me? I see what you did there.
Coach Brooks, when you first meet him, he can be intimidating because of like his structure.
Flying out the ball.
But once you get to know him, he's a fun guy. You can go to him if you need anything.
Junior tight ends Milton Turner and Sam Rhodes say Brooks built a sense of trust, both on the field and in the classroom.
But I never felt like I would get as close as a bond with a law enforcement as I do with Coach Brooks.
All right, don't be scared to be great, man. You ain't gonna miss, you good.
If I ever have a problem, I can call 911, feel safe, and know that most law enforcement are like Coach Brooks and always out there to help others.
How you doing?
Yeah, how you?
You doing all right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Though a fear of or disconnect with law enforcement
What's going on, Sha?
continues to plague some communities, Brooks is calling on his brothers in blue to do what they can to bridge the gap.
Go have lunch with a kid or go sit in the cafeteria, go to the PE gym, shoot basketball. The kids are our future, so you have the opportunity to build those relationships with the kids and make that positive impact, so there's no excuse.
The Burlington Police Department hosts several community events throughout the year, including Coffee with a Cop and Christmas shopping with officers. They hope it creates a sense of transparency within the community. Officer Brooks, as you can see, he's a cool guy. The kids like him, but you know, it's that balance. You're strict, but then you're also very opening and welcoming to them as well.
Good cop and bad cop,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You got to be both.
He's like, he should do sessions like SRO training for other SROs, because my kids have been in the school system too. You have some that really connect with the kids and some that I think feel more like they're there for security and they're not really, and there's a balance, you know.
And he also talked about, you know, he aspires to work in narcotics. That's still a long-term goal of his. And he was saying a lot of people question, you know, why do you want to be an SRO? Because he says generally you see a lot of older people, they're near the end of their career. And he says like the skill set that it would take to work in narcotics isn't necessarily required for working in the school system, but he says, you know, it's changed his life. He hopes other people can, you know, give back to kids, even if it's something as simple as he said, playing basketball. You see them down the street. Just having that presence and creating that connection early on is so important.
Sheriff Sam Page in Rockingham County was an SRO, and he told me before, he said, that's some of my proudest work.
Yeah.
And he's been in the military and done some pretty crazy things. Paratrooping, I mean, he's done a lot of things, but he said SRO was some of his most prideful work.
And the kids change your life. Like they really open you to their world and just make you think differently. And I think working directly with them, you'll know what is needed to, you know, help get them off the streets, help, you know, crime be reduced and all that good stuff.
And it's so important for kids to have a positive adult influence.
Yes.
And not everybody has that,
That's
unfortunately.
true.
So.
Especially in law enforcement. I mean, that's bridge the gap. That's great.
All right, let's talk about some weather now. And we've had a nice little warm up today compared to yesterday, and maybe it's a perfect day to go out here. The WFMY News 2 Piedmont Winterfest. Boy, they could use some people out there today. Although I think Tuesday might be the day that they have curling. So maybe that's why it's not open. But Monique, maybe tomorrow's a good day.
Yeah, the weather conditions are really nice for your Wednesday, whether you're trying to get out there or if you're just trying to be outdoors. Really no complaints in regards to weather. We'd be remiss without acknowledging how beautiful this view is. I mean, look at downtown Greensboro. Those orange hues, the blue skies as that sun continues to set, these temperatures feeling comfortable, still good for afternoon practice all across the Triad. High pressure being in place for the next day will make for continuous nice weather for your Wednesday. Thursday should be dry, but then a weather system moves in and completely changes the game for the end of the weekend, going into the weekend. So your Tuesday, your Wednesday, your Thursday should all be mainly dry. Friday morning, that's when we get the rain to arrive, sticking with us all day. Then we get a little bit of a break before more rain comes in Saturday night, continuing through Sunday morning, and then back to dry weather.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. It is not a secret, right? When it comes to Christmas, shopping and sales are the thing. I mean, this is a holiday with a focus on presents. Fun fact, I've already given someone a Christmas present.
Oh.
Anyone else?
It wasn't me. Oh, I was I was like, what do you have for me? No,
I've
no
ordered
Christmas
some,
present.
but nothing has arrived yet.
I've not given anything.
Yeah,
I'm still writing my list for my loved ones.
she'll be a week.
Figuring out who's naughty and nice.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. All right, let me ask you this. Do you like being in the stores at Christmas just because it's kind of festive looking?
I like being in this. You mean versus like paying online?
Yes.
Yeah, I like to be there. I like to feel the product, see the product. I'm just not a huge online shopper.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Do you?
Put me in the store. I don't care about lines.
I like shopping online, but I go to stores to have like a coffee and watch people do their thing.
Yeah,
you're a people watcher.
I like to watch
The
them all
hustle and the bustle
Yeah.
and all that
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. Okay, I do like seeing the decorations, which is why window shopping is one of my favorites. Now, all store windows are not created equal. No, no,
True,
no.
very true.
So let me show you the granddaddy of them all. Yes,
Whoa.
it is Harrods in London. The Dior windows are amazeballs. Look at this. The
gosh.
gingerbread men sewing and dreaming of the next Dior fashion. You see the dresses flying through the thought bubble there. Okay, same gingerbread theme. Another window. This one focuses on shoes. Isn't that cool? But it does not stop there. Check out the gingerbread purses, as well as an entire assembly line that looks like a gingerbread fashion factory with purses and shoes and other fashion accessories. All right, not
That's
to be
cute.
outdone. Check out the mini dresses dangling in the air. Animated window displays started about 10 years ago, and Harrods does it like nobody else, right? This year, they're powered with more LED lights in the hopes of energy saving, but the stores are also doing something else to save energy. Tell me if you think this is being stingy with the heat or not.
We are changing the, target in terms of the heat in the store. And we're only putting the heat when it's the 17 degrees. So, I mean, it's really a big change. Like 1 or 2 degrees. The clients, they don't really feel that, but it makes a big difference.
Okay, so 17 degrees Celsius is 62 degrees here. Can you imagine being in a store and they don't turn on the heat unless it's 62 degrees inside the store?
Wouldn't bother me a bit.
Wouldn't bother me because, like I
love
said,
it.
I keep my house on 68. So.
Well, and usually, like if you're out shopping this time of year, you probably have a heavier coat,
Coat
or
on,
a
right.
sweatshirt or something. So maybe it's not
You
so
don't have
bad.
to take it off. It's easier to me.
All right, and so we all just kind of said like what our house is listed at. We can start the thermostat shaming now. Join us on Facebook.
Turkey is the centerpiece on most Thanksgiving tables, but historians say that wasn't always the case.
Back in 1621, on the first Thanksgiving, you'd likely see a lot of, wait for it, shellfish. Yeah, WFMY News 2's Megan Malaris verifies a long-standing claim giving oysters the raw deal.
Let's verify, old wives' tale or a hard and fast rule. Let's crack the shell on an oyster debate. Earlier this year, Florida health leaders reported 2 people died just weeks apart after eating raw oysters. The cases happened in August in the heat of summer, and their stories brought back an age-old claim into the spotlight on the heels of North Carolina Oyster Week. True or false, you should not eat raw oysters in months without an R, as in May, June, July, or August. The theory is because warmer temperatures can harbor bacteria in oysters sitting on docks, and warm water can contain higher red tide levels, which can contaminate shellfish. So to verify if there is fact to this folklore, our sources are the Food and Drug Administration, the American Council on Science and Health, the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, the DEQ, and registered dietitian Alice Smith with Alice Approved, all of whom conclude it's false.
We see oysters year-round found in supermarkets and on restaurant menus, which makes you question if the old advice is still good advice. Luckily, times and oysters have changed, and it can be safe to eat them year-round.
So the CDC warns only heat can destroy the bacteria known as Vibrio vulnificus, found in warm coastal areas where oysters feed. That's why the FDA advises people with certain medical conditions not to eat raw oysters, as they're at high risk of serious illness or death from consuming this bacteria. That said, Smith acknowledges advancements in oyster harvesting have come a long way in mitigating risks.
By law, fresh oysters must be labeled with the time and place of harvest. Remember, when buying oysters, you want to buy them from reputable sources. You want to look at the label and see when they were harvested and where they came from, and always store them properly by keeping them cold.
Plus, the American Council on Science and Health says 90% of today's oyster farms are in cold waters anyway. The spawn season is faster, making oysters edible all months of the year. The North Carolina DEQ explains oyster harvesting is underway now, with the season running October to March. So no, the old claim not to eat oysters in summer months is an old wives' tale. Improvements to refrigeration and farming have made oysters edible year-round, though there is always a risk in consuming any raw shellfish. The FDA says your best bet is to order oysters fully cooked at restaurants. When preparing them at home, throw away raw oysters that already have opened before cooking. Also, throw away oysters that don't open when cooked. With your Verify, I'm Megan Molaris.
Good information there. Well, if you're thinking of adding oysters to your Turkey Day lineup, one Winston-Salem food guru has a recipe you might want to try out. Nikki Millerka's andouille sausage and oyster dressing brings seafood and savory together. She released the recipe back in 2020 when she said the world needed comfort food the most. Since then, she says it's been a major hit and calls it her special dressing. To find the recipe, look under the 2 Wants to Know page on our website. It's the third link on the left. What do you guys think about this?
I'm glad to know that you can just eat oysters whenever you want.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Because I couldn't even remember what it was. I couldn't remember if you were supposed to eat them in the R months or not in the R months.
I felt like I didn't even know that was a rule, because every time I've eaten oysters has been down in New Orleans, and I've been in various parts of the year. So
I mean,
everybody's eating oysters.
And they're always offering it, so I always feel like
Right.
surely they wouldn't offer it if the certain months would.
Right.
But I don't do it raw very much. I have, but I prefer steamed. But when you do horseradish and the cocktail sauce and lemon all day, crack
So
on a
good.
I like
cracker.
it always.
So good. And so ours is kind of opposite. You said that you would prefer it steamed,
Yeah, steamed or
but not raw.
Yeah, I could do raw, but sometimes it gets to me mentally.
Yeah.
I can't, the texture.
And I'm the opposite. I only eat them raw. Like Rockefeller, I don't need it.
So you don't like it when they have the cheese and like all the, I like it every way.
Yeah. So I don't think that I could have it in the stuffing. I would definitely try it, but I can't imagine.
I'll try it.
I would try
like
it,
it.
but it just sounds so I feel like it's not stuffing anymore.
Well, it is.
That's like
Well,
when people make mac and cheese and then they add vegetables to it. Then it's not mac and cheese anymore.
What about
it's
if
a
you add
casserole.
hot dogs to it?
Remember that?
Ketchup, yeah, as a
No,
kid.
that is not. That's not what it is.
What do you think? There's a name for that. I can't remember. I
Hot
used
dogs
to
and
love
mac
it.
and
Hot
cheese.
dogs and mac and cheese.
Ooh, yum.
Such a kid meal. We'll be right back.
Hot dogs and mac and cheese.
Three. Hey, mates. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
That's horrible. So horrible. Hey, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. B and D.
Oh, I should have taken that one. I've got the Wounded Warrior here.
Hello, this is Tim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3.
It's time for my 2 cents, and today I want to talk about those people in your life that touch you. So today, if you watched the 4 to 5, you saw a couple of segments I did on my friend Eric Gales and his wife LaDonna. LaDonna's from Greensboro. Eric and his wife are based here now, although they travel a lot because he's a musician. But we have these people in our lives, right? Whether it's our spouse or our best friend or maybe somebody you met along the way, and maybe it's somebody that is not even on this earth anymore. But what they did for you or do for you stays in your heart, powers you, gives you that energy, that drive, and a reason to be introspective, look at yourself honestly, and figure out what I need to be doing. Eric is very honest about his past, drug addiction, a musician coming up through the ranks, even prison, worked his way out, got himself straight, and he credits a lot of that to his wife. And when they talk to each other about where they've been and where they're going, like they did in this interview, she's crying, he is too. They're open books, and they touch me. There are those people that you meet that just do that, right? So I wanted you today, as you listen to this, to kind of do a couple of things. And one is, think about that person or people. The ones that are still here on this earth, you need to reach out to them and tell them thank you. And take that power they give you and turn it into love for everybody else in your family and your friend circle. And the other thing is, if they've passed on, then keep that memory alive. That memory's energy, and it drives us to do the right thing. Eric Gales touches people whenever he meets them, and it's not only through his music. Sometimes it's just him and his wife, LaDonna. 2 great souls on this earth. That's just my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now. We begin this evening with some tragic news before the Thanksgiving holiday, a deadly helicopter crash that happened in Charlotte.
Our CBS affiliate WBTV confirmed it was their chopper that crashed. The station identified the 2 victims as Jason Myers, a meteorologist, and Chip Tayag, a pilot. Right now, the ramps from I-85 north and south to I-77 south are still closed. Crews say it could be that way for an extended period of time as they keep investigating.